Sir Alex Ferguson built what is known as Manchester United's greatest era. Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Paul Scholes, you know how it goes. But years later, he said something shocking about a teenager from his academy, that Ravel Morrison was one of the most naturally talented players he had ever seen. Not just one of the best youngsters, one of the most talented players ever. So how does a player like that end up falling so far away from the top of the footballing world? What actually went wrong? Ravel Morrison was born in Manchester in 1993. He joined Manchester United's academy at a young age and quickly stood out. Not because of size, not because of strength, but because of something much harder to find: natural ability. He could glide past players, control the ball in tight spaces, create something out of nothing. Coaches didn't just think he was good, they knew he was special. At United's academy, he was part of a group filled with future professionals. Yet even among them, Morrison looked different. Some players are coached into greatness. Morrison looked like he already had it. By his late teens, the hype had grown. At Manchester United, players don't get praised lightly. But Morrison was being spoken about in a different way. Not just as a future first-team player, but as someone who could become truly world-class. The problem was never talent. It was everything else. Off the pitch, questions began to follow him. Discipline issues, lifestyle concerns, and repeated clashes with authority. At a club like Manchester United, where structure and mentality are everything, that creates problems fast. Sir Alex Ferguson later admitted that Morrison had talent, but also admitted he couldn't control him. And at United, especially under Ferguson, that usually means one thing: your time is running out. In 2012, Manchester United made the decision. Ravel Morrison left the club. For many fans, it felt unthinkable. A player once spoken about as a future star was gone before really beginning. But football is not just about talent. It's about timing, discipline, and decisions made every day when nobody is watching. Morrison had lost his chance at Old Trafford. But his story wasn't over yet. He joined West Ham United, and for a moment it looked like things might change. At West Ham, Morrison started to show flashes of what everyone had been talking about: close control, creativity, moments that reminded people why he was so highly rated in the first place. There were games where fans would say the same thing. Why doesn't he do this every week? That became the pattern of his career. Brilliant moments followed by inconsistency. But still, hope remained. Maybe he just needed the right environment. Maybe he needed time, but football doesn't wait forever. Over the next few years, Morrison's career became a series of moves: loans, short spells, new clubs, new chances, Lazio in Italy, Cardiff in England, QPR, Sheffield United, and more. Every time the same story seemed to repeat itself: a glimpse of talent, a moment of excitement, then another reset. People stopped asking, how good could he be? And started asking, why isn't it working? The truth is, Morrison's ability was never in doubt. Even later in his career, teammates and coaches would talk about his technical skill, his ability on the ball, his natural football intelligence. But talent alone doesn't build a career at the highest level. Consistency does, professional habits do, mentality does, and that's where Morrison's story separates from the players who made it. While some of his former academy teammates went on to win trophies, play in Europe, or represent their countries at major tournaments, Morrison's career failed to ever reach that level. Not because he couldn't play, but because football rewards those who can repeat excellence, not just show it once in a while. Today, Ravel Morrison is not remembered for what he became. He is remembered for what he could have been: the most talented player Sir Alex Ferguson ever saw, who never truly fulfilled the promise that surrounded him. And that's what makes his story so fascinating. Because in football, the gap between potential and reality is often wider than people expect. And sometimes the most gifted players are the ones who leave us with the biggest questions. What if it had gone differently? What if it all clicked? What if Ravel Morrison had fulfilled what so many people saw in him? We'll never know. But that's why his story still gets told, because in football, talent is common, but stories like his are not. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more, and check out my other video on screen now. Also, let me know in the comments, who do you want to see next?